Hi, my name is Rocio Fetiva, and this is my country presentation of Canada. I would like to begin by giving you a broad introduction of the major characteristics and general information about Canada. Canada is a country in North America that extends from the Atlantic Ocean in the east to the Pacific Ocean in the west and the Arctic Ocean to the north. It is the world's second largest country by total area. The geography of Canada is mostly plains with mountains in the west. Canada shares land borders with the United States to the south and the northwest. Canada is a major producer of zinc and uranium and is a leading exporter of many other minerals such as gold, nickel, aluminum, and lead. Many towns in the northern Canada, where agriculture is difficult, are sustainable because of nearby mines and sources of timber. Canada also has a sizable manufacturing sector centered in southern Ontario and Quebec, with automobiles and aeronautics representing particularly important industries. The government system is a parliamentary democracy, a federation, and a constitutional monarchy. The head of the state is the Queen of the United Kingdom, and the head of the government is the Prime Minister of Canada, is Stephen Harper. Canada's culture draws influences from its broad range of constituent nationalities, and policies that promote multiculturalism are constitutionally protected. Government policies such as publicly funded health care, higher taxation to redistribute wealth, the outlawing of capital punishment, strong efforts to eliminate poverty, strict gun control, and the legalization of same-sex marriage are further social indicators of Canada's political and cultural values. Canada's official languages are English and French. Canada's economy is the world's 11th largest economy in the world. In 2012, the nominal GDP was approximately 1.77 trillion US dollars. Since the early 20th century, the growth of Canada's manufacturing, mining, and service sectors have transformed the nation from a larger rural economy to an urbanized industrial one. Like many other first world nations, the Canadian economy is dominated by the service industry, which employs about three-quarters of the country's workforce. However, Canada is unusual among developed countries in the importance of its primary sector, in which the tourism and petroleum industries are two of the most prominent components. Canada is one of the world's top 10 trading nations and is a highly globalized economy. As an affluent high-tech industry society in the trillion-dollar class, Canada resembles the US in its market-oriented economic system, pattern of production, and affluent living standards. Canada is a member of many economic organizations as the OECD, the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, the G8, the Group of Eight, NAFTA, North American Trade Agreement, and the FTA, the US-Canada Free Trade Agreement. Signing the FTA and the NAFTA agreements created a dramatic increase in trade and economic integration with the United States, its principal trading partner. Canada enjoys a substantial trade surplus with the US, which absorbs nearly 80% of Canadian exports each year. While the US During the credit crisis, Canada's economic growth slowed sharply as a result of the global economic downturn, but has not suffered to the same extent as its southern neighbor. While the U.S. economy was in deep recession since the credit crisis back in 2008, Canada has not suffered to the same extent and had only sunk into a mild recession. The main reason is that Canada did not experience a bubble in real estate prices such as the U.S. did. The main area affected by it was the auto industry as a reflection of the U.S. General Motors and Chrysler bankruptcies. Canada's economy rode out the global recession better than most Western nations. While doing my research, I came across with this paragraph from a magazine from his director Adam Burns from Site Selection. It kind of summarizes a little bit the point of this presentation, and he mentions that what continues to distinguish Canada as a whole and successful Canadian communities in particular are openness to global firms and global talent, and an increasingly friendly operating environment for the industry. And this is why businesses should invest in Canada, one of the major factors. Canada is the US largest foreign supplier of energy, including oil, gas, uranium, and electric power. Canada is an economic powerhouse because besides its natural beauty, excellent geographical location, and welcoming community, Canada is a country full of opportunities to invest. It's a great for business looking to relocate or expand. Even though Canada did not escape the past few years of international financial turmoil, it has held up pretty well, with no massive job loss and a banking system acclaimed internationally and with no bailouts. But what makes Canada an ideal country to invest? There are many reasons, and the answer is simple. Canada's stable and growing economy ranked number 17 compared to 185 other countries by doing business for the ease of doing business in Canada. As a result of recent tax changes, combined federal provincial corporate income tax rate is lower than the average G8 and G20 countries, and lower than the average federal tax state rate in the United States. The perfect business conditions in Canada are the global reach and the proximity to markets. Canada is ideally situated to have a great access to international markets. The easy access for the markets makes it ideal for manufacturers. People and goods move quickly and seamlessly in and out of Canada. Like I said before, it's an ideal location and it has an excellent infrastructure of highways and airports and is close to the north of the United States. Canada also has a competitive business cost with other countries. It's lower cost to do business in Canada compared to the United States. Last year in 2012, the business costs were 5% lower in Canada than the United States, and the Canadian business costs are among the lowest in the G8. Immigration has helped to make Canada one of the world's richest nations. The strong immigration policy in Canada has helped Canada be in the position that it is right now. People from across the world, attracted by Canada's large and diverse economy and outstanding quality of life, have made Canada their home. The Business Immigration Branch of Canada's Ministry of Economic Development, Trade and Employment provides a variety of services to companies looking to recruit foreign workers, as well as international corporations establishing or expanding operations in Canada. Canada welcomes people from all over the world, especially business immigrants who have a solid background in business, sufficient financial assets to establish themselves in Canada, and a demonstrated enthusiasm for engaging in business after landing in Canada. Another factor is the skilled workforce that Canada has. IT development, biotech, and contact center services need access to a large pool of educated, skilled, and reliable workers that can be found in Canada. Canada has highly educated people and knowledge-based industries. The three biggest cities in Canada to invest are Toronto, Montreal, and Vancouver. Toronto is the capital of Ontario, Canada's most populous province. Since the 1970s, Toronto has overtaken its historic rival Montreal to become Canada's leading economic center. This economic prosperity has attracted large numbers of immigrants from outside of Canada and migrants from other parts of the country who had made Toronto one of the most multicultural cities in America. Toronto is home to more than 13 million people, and the Ontario's economy is very diversified and growing. It has one of the largest biochemical research centers in North America and is home to Canada's four largest wind farms. Ontario's market, like I said, is of more than 13 million people with the highest personal incomes. Ontario has 250,000 lakes and it has about one third of the world's fresh water. It has the latest medical products and techniques that are being developed there. Ontario's auto industry has more than 87,000 highly skilled workers. Montreal. Before it was overtaken by Toronto in the 1970s, Montreal was Canada's biggest city and main commercial hub. Today it is the country's second largest city and a major center for arts and culture. Montreal has the distinction of being one of the only truly bilingual cities in North America. Montreal has a GDP of 103 billion in 2012. The Greater Montreal is in first place among large cities in Canada and second place among the large cities in North America in terms of economic performance coming out of the global recession, according to the Global Metro Monitor. Montreal's economy is healthy, with a number of strong economic indicators. All this makes for an attractive, dynamic business climate. A number of multinational companies are headquartered here in Montreal, from pharmaceutical to information technology. The secrets to the success are diversification and high technology. Montreal has historically had a strong economy and is located at the crossroads of a number of waterways. The city has always been a hub of trade and has been a major financial and industrial metropolis since the early 20th century. Today, traditional sectors like agriculture, construction, and textiles still represent over 100,000 jobs. But in recent years, advanced technologies like high value added services and careers in the creative sector had come to the fore. Last but not least is Vancouver. Vancouver is the West Coast. Vancouver is Canada's gateway to the Pacific Ocean. Scenically, Vancouver is probably the most beautiful of Canada's biggest cities. The city is held by the Pacific Ocean on one side and the mountains horizon on the other. Vancouver is consistently ranked as the world's most livable city by the Economist Intelligence Unit, and it has a dynamic, highly diversified urban economy with growing knowledge-based sectors and strong global linkages. The port is one of North America's busiest in terms of volume of foreign cargo. Vancouver's economy has experienced rapid structural change. Vancouver's defining economy role has evolved from a service center for the province's resource economy to a dynamic urban center. It exports more than 64 million metric tons and imports more than 9 million metric tons each year. Vancouver has been the leader in British Columbia's focus on trade with the Pacific nations. Its lead role was set in stone when the city hosted the Asia Pacific Economic Conference in 1997. And because of all these factors, Canada is a great country to invest. All this has been my presentation about Canada, and I'm just gonna leave you with some pictures and a little video from the views of Canada.